I bet you did.
Yeah.
Hey, Tasha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, those last 2 seconds before we go live were always very interesting. All right,
It's
tonight
the live. It's the live before the live. It
it's
catches
the live before the live.
funny.
You are a nut. All right, so tonight we are talking about really, God, another setback. Man, first of all, how many people can relate to that after this pandemic, going through this pandemic, going through the whole political cycle that we went through to get to this point and still,
For sure.
right? I mean, it's been and you and I know people in our lives personally. At one, we've gone through setbacks ourselves. No one gets through life without going through setbacks. That people who are really challenged right now, you know, in life and are really struggling, you know, particularly if you've lost your job, your income is impacted, like that. You know what I mean? Like there's some real. This one really hit home. This topic.
It did, right? Uh, and how do we get through it, right? That's what we're going to talk about
Yes.
tonight is how to really survive it. Like talk about some actual things that we can do, not just throwing some cliches up at me and saying, I'm a pray for you. I mean, prayer works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but faith without works is dead.
And come on, let's get past the cliches. And so I'm just going to say to the people who are watching, feel free to make comments, join us in this conversation, because I'm sure anyone watching, if you've been through a setback, come on in, join in this conversation. Let's get to it.
And let me just say that I love God, right?
Okay.
Jesus is my homeboy.
Okay.
And this is how we talk. Like, God, really? This what we doing right now? This what we doing?
Really? Like for real?
Yeah.
Like this ain't what you said. This didn't feel like a prayer I had. Like for real.
It's right. It's not the vision that you showed me.
No, you said anything I asked for, I'd get. Don't believe this. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe this bill. I don't believe this drama. I don't believe these fools I work with. I don't believe that this is what you
entire situation, right? Good evening, Gail.
Hi, Gail. All right. So let's talk about. Well, let me ask this: is there a setback that you had that you want to share?
Man, you beat me to it. I was going to ask you first. Yeah, I have a real one, and I don't know if I've ever, publicly like shared this entire story, but I will tell the setback from my perspective.
All this qualification, just get to it, okay? All of this trying to slow roll into it. Get into it.
Okay, so listen, 2018, my family was planning to move overseas. All of us, right? Me, my husband, my 3 kids. We planned 6 months for this. My parents sacrificed and came and lived with me for 6 months while my husband went ahead and, paved the way for us. And we were ready. I sold my house.
Yeah.
And all the things in my house. Yeah. I got rid of all of my shoes and my coats.
Yeah, you did.
I was going to Qatar. It's hot. I don't need no coat.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I had no plan to come back, right? I mean, maybe eventually we would come back to the U.S., but my plan was, I'm going with this, and this is what we're going to do. I prayed about it, and I said, hey, God, if this is what you have for us, make it easy. Everything was easy. Everything fell into place. I got the money that I wanted for the things that I sold. I sold my house in the dead of winter in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I bought 5 one-way tickets to Qatar.
You did.
I wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
And then the plan changed.
Yeah.
And in, a matter of hours, we weren't going anymore.
So let me ask, how did that make you feel?
Whew. My initial feeling was, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Uh-huh.
I was shocked. I'm a project manager, right? When I plan something, it's supposed to go the way I plan it. And I did everything right. And so it's taken me probably this long to really be able to talk about it without welling up.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was very emotional.
Yeah.
And I cried a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know what to do. Right?
Yeah.
All the plans that I had, just like literally the bottom just opened up and I just saw everything going down the drain. And I couldn't stop it. And it was happening fast.
Yeah.
And I was homeless.
Mm.
Me and my husband and my 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Had to get out that house that you sold.
In January.
Yeah.
In Maryland, we ain't had no house.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something.
You want to talk about a setback, right?
That's
aside from, all of those material things, a setback internally, right? I'm a planner, and for my plans not to go the way I set them out, I was set aback emotionally and mentally, and it was very hard.
Oh.
So I wish that somebody might have told me, "Oh, everything happens for a reason." Really? Does it?
It wasn't gonna work.
That wasn't gonna work right at that moment. It wasn't. Nope.
So
what I wanted to hear.
No, listen. Who does? Because sometimes, let's be honest. Sometimes when it happens, you just got to sit in like, what the is going on?
Really, God?
Really?
We talked about this. We planned this together.
Didn't you say what you said you was going to say in my head, and you told me how it was going to work out? And it didn't. Yeah. So
what do you do?
Well, let's get into 4 steps to setback survival, right?
Because I survived. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, you survived. And I was right there next to you.
Thank you.
Kind of happy you didn't go, though, just for the record. I'm not saying I was praying for it. I was with you on them prayers. I may not have been as vocal, I said amen. All right, so the first thing that people should keep in mind when hitting that setback, for real, is do your very best to keep it positive and be fair with yourself, because it may not be your first reaction.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't have much of a choice but to keep it positive, right? When you have an entire family that you're trying to keep together, right? I had small kids. Davis was like 1,
mm-hmm.
Right? I had kids in tow, right? And so I had to keep it positive for them, to keep them happy, to kind of keep things going. And I think just in general, I do have a positive outlook, and the people around me are positive and supportive. And so it was very important in that moment to stay positive, because I could have, had my thoughts go into the drain where everything else at that moment I felt like, was going.
Yeah. We got a couple comments here.
Me too. Probably to Sharon's comment about, I'm glad you didn't go.
And Keith, hey Keith, so glad that you stepped out on faith, and because I know you and you persevered. Yeah, that you did. All right. Let's talk about step 2. Determine what went wrong. Now, given the example you've given, do you have can you pinpoint what you think went wrong? Do you think there's something that you could have done? Because sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's really just outside of your control.
And I think this one was something that was outside of my control. Like I said, I planned everything, right? It just didn't go the way it was supposed to go, because in the cliche, God had other plans, right?
Yeah.
But at that moment, I thought God and I were, I thought we was on the same page. But
yeah. I think the important lesson here is that sometimes you can plan everything and it's just outside of your control.
Yeah.
There are just some things, and you and I've got a friend going through that right now, right? It's all out of their control. Everything that they plan for, and it's completely blown up and it's out of their control.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have, as frustrating as it is, as painful as it is, you just got to be like, you got to push through it. And you can't stay in that moment of what could I have done? What could I have done? There's nothing you could have done because you did everything.
Well, what about you? Has there been a time in your life where you've had to sort of come back, right, and survive a setback? Did you?
Oh, so we couldn't just stay with you. We couldn't just stay with you. You wanted to bring me in this. Is that what it was? Because I really felt like you had a really good story.
I do have a good story, but we need to see two sides of things, right? Because
really, I thought we were doing two sides of yours.
No, people would like to know about you, Sharon.
What people? What are you talking about?
Moment. Let's talk to us about, surviving a setback, Sharon. What went wrong?
You know what? I had a position one time that I worked for that I stayed too long. I worked for a company and I stayed too long. Like I knew, but there was a particular project where I was working with kids and I love working and mentoring kids. And I knew I stayed 5 years too long because I wanted to work with those kids. And the scenario just got worse. And then the management changed. And then the management sort of leaned into, I'll call it a nemesis at work, right? And that nemesis worked differently for me. I come to do my work and go home, right? I don't come to work and make all these calculated plans and people and do politics. I'm not very good at politics. What you see is what you get. Now, what I would say is, so then what happened to me is I'm there too long. Definitely should have left. But now management has changed. And my boss said to me before he left, he said, Sharon, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. And he quote said, they're going to cut your head off and drop it in the gutter. So you better be prepared. Wow. That is what my outgoing boss said to me. There ain't a whole lot of so what went wrong? I stayed too long.
Yeah. Keith says, so how do you tell the person to push through? Sharon, you open this up.
Appreciate you, Keith. So, listen.
Sometimes you don't push through, right? I think when you talk about having people and how do you tell a person when you have people in your life that can see things that you can't see, right? We talk about this with an accountability partner. Sometimes the answer is not pushing through. Sometimes the answer is recognizing that it is time to leave.
Well, and I'm going to say to Keith's question, in pushing through, it is great to have an accountability partner who, one, can say, I need to give you your moment so you can feel what you're feeling right now. But then I'm going to be that partner to you that says, okay, but we can't stay here. What are we going to do? And that, now granted, you and I weren't accountability partners at that time, but that is what we have done in the many times since then. Okay, now what are we going to do?
And that we is powerful.
Yeah, it is. That we is powerful. Like we're here. I'm going to let you feel because you need to feel it, right? You said to me, you probably need to go to bed early tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
You probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you give me my space to feel what I need to feel, but then you're right back there to say, okay, right? And you're brainstorming, and whether I can hear it at the time, we're going to do temperature checks, right? Is it now the time? Not okay. I'll come back and we'll try it again tomorrow.
So listen, Gail says you can push through with a support system. I think that plays right into our
next one. Yeah.
Number 3.
That's right. 8. Get your team and create a plan. Listen, who surrounds you helps you.
Yeah.
Bottom line. You got to be really, and it's important to be surrounded by good people.
Yeah. And there are going to be setbacks, period. It's going to happen. My mom used to tell me all the time, keep living. Oh, it hasn't happened to you yet? Keep living, right?
Keep living. Yeah.
It's going to happen, right? So when you talk about surviving this setback, Gail says pushing through with your support system, you got to have a team around you to get through, right? And with that team, you create a plan. It's the we. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that team helped you, I think, if you got a good one, and that's why it's important just to be surrounded by good people, to not let your thoughts slide down to your point, into that hole, right? What you had helping you stay accountable is that you knew you had a family that you had to stay up for, right? You had a family that you just had to take it on a chin and cry in private, right? And sometimes so many women, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
But it's so easy for so many of us, ourselves included, to get that word, to get that feeling, and we want to go down into that dungeon. Woe is me. Why me? This don't happen to no one else but me. And no, you got to fight those. It's easy. It's hard to stay positive, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Your team sort of becomes the barrier to that drain or the stoppage in the drain, right?
The village.
I'm not going to let you go down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm staying right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep you up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, take action.
You have to do something.
Yeah. All right. So how did you take action?
Can you imagine if I just was sitting there and just sad about what happened?
Girl, you was going to be homeless on the street in a shelter. So you really had to act.
Yeah.
Truly, you didn't have much time to be sad because you had to find a place to live.
I did.
Like that. And a place that could hold 5 people. Yeah. And accommodate your daughter with special needs.
And my work from home.
And your work from home.
And everything else, right? So, yeah. I mean, that's what we did, right? My husband and I, we buckled down and we took action. We found a place to live,
Yeah.
Put ourselves in storage. He posted on Facebook that we were homeless.
Oh, I remember that day.
I didn't think it was funny at all, especially not in the moment. I mean, I can laugh about all of this now, but I mean, and I talked with my accountability partner as well. I mean, my life partner and I actually took the action, but as a woman, right? I did. I took the time to talk to my accountability partner.
Yeah, we needed to, because when you walked out of the room with me, you had to have the right words coming out of your mouth. You just can't say everything you're thinking. No, wait, let's just think about this. How are we going to say this? No.
And so, the process of that taking action, as quick as water goes down the drain, it feels like it takes longer to fill that tub up, right? And so the taking action is the filling of the tub almost at like a trickle, I feel like, right? But it don't go out at a trickle. It goes out fast.
Man.
And so, the action was included patience, right? Because I couldn't redeem as quickly as I lost it. I couldn't get it back that fast, right?
Yeah. And having a plan, understanding that plan takes time, helps you get there. But you got to know off rip, to your point, that you lost it fast, but it's going to take a little longer to build.
It was very hard. I mean, I don't even think hard is the right adjective, right? I don't even know what to say to describe it. I mean, devastating. Catastrophic, but I always go back to, keeping it positive. It's first world problems, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not on the tarmac grabbing for an airplane to get out of a country right now. You know what I mean? So it's also about keeping things in perspective. And listen, I had money in the bank.
Yeah.
Be able to find a place for my family to live. Everyone is not so blessed.
Everyone is not so blessed.
And so, being able to keep things in perspective was also helpful in moving forward.
Naya Sean says, sounds like my mom. Keep on living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keith says, not funny. I'm not sure which part was not funny.
Probably the storage post on Facebook.
Oh, no, that was not. That was, listen, everyone deals with stress in different ways.
Yes.
Right? Everyone deals with stress. All right. So let's just recap, right? Step 1, again, because don't nobody want to hear no cliches. Ain't nobody got time when you miss it. But listen, do your best to keep positive. Number 2, try to figure out what went wrong and understand sometimes it's just completely outside of your control.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. It's just life. It's going to happen sometime, no matter how difficult that is. 3, get your team and create a plan. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people. Like, for real. This is, at a certain point, if they are filled with drama, if they don't have anything positive to say, if they're not doing anything in their life that you want to emulate, cut them. It's just time. And no one's got time for that.
Yep.
And 4, take action.
Or you going down the drain too. Do something.
You better do something. You better do something.
Yeah.
So listen, this has been a great chat tonight. It has been my pleasure, our pleasure. Keith says, and so how do you stay in the moment when you know it needs to good? Tasha, translate.
I don't know that one. Just probably typing really fast. I appreciate the engagement, Keith.
I appreciate, we with you, Keith. Almost.
Listen, it was great talking to you tonight. I'm so thankful to have an accountability partner, and we look forward to being able to share these type of supports with other women as well, right? We are here for accountability coaching, and invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and
go to our website, accountabilityqueens.com.
And you can always tell us too.
Yeah, and listen, sign up because we'll have a newsletter that'll be starting. We've got some interesting online courses that we're getting ready to launch. We have a lot of things coming probably in the next, I'm going to say 30 days, Tasha.
All right, I'm going to let you say that. That's your plan. That's your plan. But I have to plan if there's any setbacks. Let me just say.
Go ahead and plan for them. I'm going straight ahead. Wind in my back. All right. Good night, Tasha. Again, follow us.
Good morning, y'all.
Accountability Queens. Take care, everybody.